I remember the day we launched NextGen Gear like it happened 5 minutes ago. The lights were warm, the cameras flashed, and the room was buzzing with excitement. Our small team stood around us, clapping, cheering. I was wearing my favorite black blazer, the only one I owned, and my hands were shaking, not from fear, but from happiness. I looked around and smiled. Zane was already surrounded by investors and press. He was laughing, shaking hands, telling stories that made everyone laugh louder. He always knew how to control a room. He was the charm, I was the code. And I was okay with that. We had built something from nothing. We were partners. Lena stood by the drink table, talking to some clients. She looked stunning, like she always did. Her red dress matched the cherry tint of her lips. When her eyes met mine, she smiled. Not just any smile, the kind that makes your chest feel warm. She lifted her glass toward me. I smiled back and raised mine. God, I was stupid. We had been together for almost 2 years. She'd supported me through college, through the first failed versions of the app, through sleepless nights and broken laptops. She believed in me when no one else did. That's what I thought. That's what I wanted to believe. Zane clapped his hands loudly, pulling everyone's attention. Ladies and gentlemen, he shouted, raising his drink. Tonight, we celebrate the future. Our future. NextGen Gear is going to change the way people connect with technology. We didn't just make a product. We started a movement. Everyone clapped. Cameras flashed again. He turned toward me, and none of this would be possible without this guy, Ethan Blake. The brain, the builder, the quiet genius who wrote more lines of code than I've had cups of coffee. Laughter followed. I laughed too. He put his arm around my shoulder and leaned in. We're gonna be legends, man. I nodded. Yeah, legends. Then I saw her, Ava Lynn, the new intern. She was standing near the back, away from the crowd, holding a notebook close to her chest. She wasn't clapping. She was watching. Not the speech, not the people, but Zane. Carefully, like she was trying to solve a puzzle only she could see. I looked away and didn't think much of it. Back then, I believed in people too easily. The rest of the night passed like a dream. Investors shook my hand and said, brilliant work. Tech writers asked about my algorithms. Lena wrapped her arm around mine and whispered, I'm so proud of you. And when she kissed my cheek, it felt like everything I had ever worked for had finally led me here. I was 25. I had a company worth millions. I had my best friend beside me and the love of my life in my arms. But if I had looked closer, if I had listened just a little harder, I would have seen it. The way Zane's smile never reached his eyes. The way Lena's hand lingered just a second too long on his shoulder when she congratulated him. The way Ava frowned when she saw it, then quickly looked away. But I was too happy. Too proud. Too blind. We left the party that night as heroes. Zane drove Lena and me home in his new sports car. We sang along to old college songs, made stupid jokes, and promised each other that nothing would ever come between us. Nothing. I believed every word, and as I lay in bed later that night, staring at the ceiling, Lena sleeping beside me, I whispered, we made it. My heart was full, but I didn't know I was already losing everything. I didn't know that was the last night I would feel whole. I didn't know the storm was already coming, and it had both their names on it. It started small. Like a single drop of water tapping the same spot on a glass table, soft, steady, almost unnoticeable. But if you listen closely enough, it starts to sound like something breaking. I was in the office early that morning, as usual. Zane never showed up before 10, and Lena was working remotely that week. I liked the quiet. It gave me time to think, to build. Then I heard a voice behind me. Hey, Ethan, didn't expect you in already. I turned to see Camilla, our office manager, holding a tray of coffee cups. She looked surprised. I always come early, I said, trying to smile. She hesitated. Right, sorry, I just figured, with the Grayson meeting happening, you might have taken the day to prep. My fingers froze on the keyboard. What meeting? She blinked. The one with Mr. Grayson, the investor from Titan Capital. Zane scheduled it last week. Big pitch, apparently. I nodded slowly. Right, yeah, I must have missed the memo. But I didn't. I checked my inbox 5 times. No invite, no mention, nothing. At 10:15, Zane walked in with his usual swagger, sunglasses still on, phone pressed to his ear. He gave me a nod like nothing was off. Big day, I asked casually. He grinned. Huge. Might land another round of funding. For what? I asked. For the AI module, he said. Grayson's into predictive tech now. Wants something cutting edge. I blinked. You mean my predictive AI? Zane waved his hand. Ours, bro. Everything is ours, remember. Then he walked off, already talking to someone else on the phone. That drop of water hit a little harder. I told myself it didn't mean anything. Maybe it was just a mistake. Maybe I really had missed the email. Zane had always handled investors. That was his job, but something felt off. That afternoon, I went down to the lower floor, hoping to grab a soda from the break room. On the way back, I passed the glass conference room. Zane sat at the head of the table. Grayson sat across from him. A slideshow glowed on the screen behind them. I stopped when I heard my name. He's a solid dev, Zane was saying. But I've been leading the innovation lately. Ethan's been kind of overwhelmed. My stomach dropped. The slide changed. It was a blueprint of my code. My neural network layout. The same one I'd built over 3 months, losing sleep, skipping meals. And under the credits line, it said, greater than lead developer, Zane Carter. I stepped back slowly, like the glass might shatter just from me looking at it. The rest of the day passed like a blur. I didn't say anything, not to Zane, not to anyone. That night, Lena called. Hey, baby, she said sweetly. You sound tired. I didn't answer right away. Did you know about the Grayson pitch? She paused. Zane mentioned it. Why? I wasn't invited. Well, maybe he thought you didn't need to be. You've been so stressed lately, Ethan. I sighed. Lena, he's taking credit for my work. You're overthinking, she said gently. Zane wouldn't do that. You two are partners. I wanted to believe her. I really did, but her voice sounded like she already knew something. Or maybe I just didn't want to face the truth. After the call, I sat at my desk for hours, just staring at lines of code that didn't even look familiar anymore. Around 11 p.m., I heard a knock on the glass door. I looked up. It was Ava, the intern. She opened the door and stepped in slowly. You're still here. Could say the same to you, I said. She hesitated. I saw the pitch slides. I know you didn't make them. My heart skipped. I just thought you should know, she added. There were other files too, labeled under Zane's name. Your source code, system logs, he's been saving them in a private folder. I stared at her, not sure what to say. I'm not trying to stir trouble, she said quickly. I thought you deserved to know. She left without saying anything else. I sat back in my chair and looked up at the ceiling. That drop of water hit again. This time, I heard the crack. It was a Sunday. The kind of slow, quiet day where nothing feels urgent. I was lying on my couch, flipping through bug reports on my laptop, half listening to a rerun of some crime show in the background. My phone buzzed. It was from Riley, my cousin. He'd gone to a launch party the night before, something tech-related, something trendy. I figured it was a meme or a photo of some fancy car. But it wasn't. It was a picture. Just one. And it broke me. Lena, Zane, laughing. Close. Way too close. His hand was on her lower back, her face tilted toward his like she belonged there. Her lips almost touched his cheek. It wasn't just a hug. It wasn't just a drunken smile. They looked like a couple. I stared at the photo for a long time, not breathing. My fingers went numb around the phone. I texted Riley. Greater than, where was this? Last night. You weren't there. Looked like a company thing. Sorry bro. Didn't mean to weird you out. I couldn't feel my legs. My chest hurt in a way that didn't make sense. Like my lungs forgot how to work. I called Lena. She picked up on the third ring, her voice soft and normal. Hey babe, where were you last night? She paused. At a dinner with a friend. Just casual. Which friend? My voice sounded hollow. Another pause. You okay? Don't lie to me. She was silent. I saw the photo, I said quietly. Of you, with him. Her voice cracked. Ethan, how long? I whispered. Then the tears came. Hers, not mine. I didn't mean for it to happen. It was stupid. We were drinking. We were venting. One thing led to another and... How long? I asked again, louder this time. She didn't answer. She just cried. That silence told me everything I needed to know. I trusted you, I said. I didn't want to hurt you. But you did, over and over. And you never told me. It wasn't serious, she choked out. It didn't mean anything. Then why are you crying? She hung up. I sat there, my phone still to my ear, listening to nothing. That should have been enough pain for one day. But it wasn't over. I drove to the office. I needed to see Zane. I needed to hear it from him too. He was alone in the break room, pouring himself coffee like it was just another Monday. He smiled when he saw me. Hey, man, what's up? I walked up and placed my phone on the table, the photo still open. He glanced down, then shrugged. That, I said. He took a sip of his coffee. Look, Ethan, don't make this a big deal. Things got messy. That's life. How long? He chuckled. Why do people always ask that like it matters? How long, Zane? I asked again, louder. He leaned against the counter, arms crossed. Couple months, maybe more. It started before the launch. She came to me, said you were too distracted. Too caught up in your code to even look at her. I wanted to hit him. I really did, but I didn't move. I just stood there, frozen. And you, what? I said, you thought it was okay. To take her, to stab me in the back while we built my dream. He laughed again, colder this time. Your dream. You think this company was your dream. Ethan, wake up. You're the brain, sure, but you're also a mess. You freeze under pressure. You don't know how to talk to people. Investors, clients. You hide behind screens while I clean up your chaos. I stared at him, the walls closing in around me. I carried you, he said. And when Lena got tired of waiting for you to grow up, she came to me. I didn't force anything. It just happened. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I just felt something inside me snap. Not like glass. Glass shatters with sound. This was quieter. Like paper tearing, like something folding in on itself. I picked up my phone, turned around, and walked out. He didn't follow me. Of course he didn't. He'd said what he needed to say. I drove without direction for hours. Streets turned into highways. Buildings blurred into lights. The world moved like I didn't exist anymore. Somewhere near the edge of the city, I pulled over. I sat there, forehead on the steering wheel, and just breathed. Lena, Zane, the two people I loved and trusted the most. Gone. Not dead. Worse. Alive, laughing, breathing without guilt, while I sat alone with the pieces they left behind. I thought about the code I had written, the hours I had poured into the company. All the nights I skipped sleep, skipped meals, skipped life, so we could make it. So he could have it all. So they could smile behind my back. A message came in, from Ava, I'm sorry. I heard what happened. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. I didn't reply, not yet. I needed to feel this. All of it, because the man I was yesterday, he was gone. And the man I was becoming, he was just getting started. I walked out of NextGen Gear the next morning with nothing but a manila envelope and a shaking hand. The papers inside were still warm from the printer. I didn't read them. I didn't care anymore. I signed whatever Zane gave me. My buyout, my exit, my silence, all of it wrapped in neat little legal lines. I'll wire you the funds next week, Zane had said, smiling like this was just business. Thanks for everything, man. I nodded. He extended his hand. I didn't take it. I just walked past him, past the office that once felt like home, past the glass doors that used to make me feel important. The sunlight hit my face, but I didn't feel warm. I felt empty. It was all gone. My code, my company, my future, her. I didn't go home right away. I walked for hours. Through streets I didn't recognize, through parks filled with strangers, through pieces of a city that didn't care who I was or what I'd lost. And when my legs finally gave out, I sat on a bench and stared at nothing. When I finally did get home, I found Mom on the floor. Her body was curled, her breathing fast and shallow. The cereal she was eating was spilled across the kitchen tiles. Her hand clutched her chest. Mom, I dropped everything. Mom, can you hear me? She blinked at me, confused. Her lips moved, but no words came out. I called the ambulance with trembling fingers. At the hospital, the words hit me harder than anything Zane or Lena ever said. It was a hard episode. She needs rest, medication, and monitoring. It could have been much worse. I sat beside her bed, holding her frail hand in mine. She was awake now, her eyes barely open. You okay? She whispered. I nodded, lying straight to her face. She smiled weakly. Don't let life break you, Ethan. But life had already done more than that. It had hollowed me out. Over the next few days, the bills came in like punches to the gut. Tests, medication, overnight stays. Insurance covered some, not enough. Zane's wire never came. I emailed, no reply. Called, straight to voicemail. I checked the company site. My name was gone. The About Us page said, founded by visionary entrepreneur Zane Carter. My chest tightened. It was like I had never existed. No money, no job, no Lena, no company, just me, and a dying mother who still believed I was some kind of success story. I opened my closet and pulled out the box I hadn't touched in years. Inside it was my old laptop. Scratched, slow, and half broken, just like me. I opened it and stared at the screen. I didn't know what I was looking for. A reason, a second chance, hope. The login screen flickered. The cursor blinked like it was waiting for me to wake up. I typed in my password and waited. After a few minutes, a notification popped up. Ava Lynn, they're changing your code, badly. I thought you should know. I stared at her message. She didn't ask how I was. She didn't pretend everything was fine. She just told me the truth. I didn't reply. I didn't have the strength. Let them destroy it. Let them ruin everything. I was too tired to care. Too numb to fight. That night, I lay on the floor of my bedroom, staring at the ceiling, wondering if this was what failure felt like. Not loud or dramatic, just quiet. Heavy, endless. I thought about the code I wrote, the one that made machines think faster, see clearer, act smarter. Funny how I could teach a machine to learn, but I couldn't teach myself how to trust the right people. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in weeks, I didn't dream, just darkness. I climbed the stairs one step at a time, like I was dragging my whole body through thick air. The rooftop door creaked open, and the night hit me. Cold, quiet, still. Below me, the city buzzed, cars moving like tiny sparks, windows glowing like distant stars. But up here, it felt like the world had stopped. Like I had finally stepped outside my own mess. I walked to the edge, not close enough to be stupid, but close enough to wonder. What if I just disappeared? What if I stopped trying? Stopped hurting? Stopped being? I don't know how long I stood there, hands in my pockets, watching everything that wasn't me keep moving forward. But then I heard the door swing open behind me. Footsteps. Slow, familiar. Thought I'd find you here, Riley said. I didn't turn around. How? He walked up beside me, jacket zipped to his chin. Because this is where you used to come after bad days. School fights, rejections. That time Lena ghosted you for a week in college. I cracked a tiny smile. You were like 10. How do you even remember that? I remember everything that broke you, he said. Because I was the one picking up the pieces. That one hit deep. I finally looked at him. He looked older now. Still goofy-eyed, still too skinny, but stronger somehow. Like life hadn't crushed him yet. You want to disappear, huh? He asked, nodding toward the edge. I let out a dry laugh. No, I just want it all to stop hurting. He leaned on the rail next to me. You got robbed, Ethan. I mean, straight up. Zane and Lena, that's the kind of betrayal that makes movies look soft. I didn't reply. I'd be angry if I were you, he added. I said. Now I'm just tired. Riley nodded slowly. I get it. The wind picked up a little. A siren wailed in the distance. I closed my eyes, breathing it all in. The cold air, the noise, the silence inside me. I gave everything to that company, I said. Everything. My time, my health, my heart. And they tossed me like I was nothing. You weren't nothing, he said. They were just cowards who didn't know how to build anything without stealing it. I looked at him, really looked at him. Why are you even here? Because I know you, Ethan. You don't just sit in pain. You do something about it. Even if it's messy, even if it takes time. I'm not that guy anymore. Then become someone else, he said. Someone better. Someone they can't touch. I didn't respond. He nudged my shoulder. You're still alive, idiot. That means you get to choose what happens next. He left a few minutes later, tossing me his keys. Crash at my place. It's cleaner than yours. And I got snacks. I stayed a little longer, watching the city blink below me. I wasn't angry, not like before, but I wasn't broken either. I was just standing still, caught in between who I used to be and who I might become. That night, I pulled out my old laptop again. The screen flickered to life, and the hum of the fan filled the silence. I didn't open it for revenge. Not yet. I opened it because I missed the feeling of building something real. I wanted to feel alive again, even if it was just for a few minutes. So I opened a blank window, and I started typing. The nights got quieter after that. No more endless pacing, no more obsessing over what I lost. Just the steady hum of my old laptop and the occasional rustle of snack wrappers Riley kept forcing on me. And then, Ava messaged me again. Greater than, I found backups. From last fall, before they scrubbed your name off everything. Attached were zip files, logs, commits, code in my style, elegant, tight, specific. Code that I knew in my bones. I stared at it for a long time before replying. Greater than, why are you helping me? She answered immediately. Greater than, because I saw you build it. And I'm tired of watching them lie. The next day, Aaron reached out. Aaron was the guy nobody remembered in meetings, the one who wore the same black hoodie and only spoke when he had to, but he watched everything, everyone. I cloned the old repositories before they locked us out, he said on a scratchy call. I figured something shady was coming. Didn't know how bad. He dropped another folder in a shared drive. Hundreds of lines of my architecture. Timestamps. Proof. I felt my jaw clench. My name was still in some of the metadata. Buried, but there, like ghosts. You could get fired for this, I said. Aaron just chuckled. They already demoted me. Said my attitude was passive. Screw 'em. I smiled for the first time in days. And then Mara messaged me. Mara was a journalist I'd met at a tech expo years ago. She once told me Zane was all PR shine and little substance. I didn't listen then. She didn't say hello. She said, greater than, off the record, what happened? Because people are whispering. And someone sent me an anonymous tip. Your name's missing from patents you definitely co-filed. I stared at that message. Whispers. Anonymous tips. The truth leaking out of closed rooms. I didn't reply yet. Instead, I started building. It was nothing fancy. Just a skeletal framework of an idea I had in college. A project Zane once called, too technical for the market. But it was mine. Pure, clean, untouched. Each night I added a little more. Each line of code stitched something shut inside me. Until one evening, the door buzzed. I opened it, and there he was. Jake. 5 years older, a little bulkier, beard thicker. Same stupid grin. Dude, he said, hugging me hard. What the hell happened to your face? I laughed. Probably the first real one in weeks. Life happened. He dropped his duffel on Riley's floor and kicked off his boots. You look like someone ate your dreams and spit out depression. Thanks, I said. Good to see you too. He collapsed onto the couch. Heard about the implosion. I've been watching from overseas. Couldn't believe it. Zane always gave me creep vibes. I should have listened. Jake leaned forward. So, we building something or not? I blinked. What? He grinned. You and me. That startup idea we shelved junior year. The decentralized toolset. No middlemen. No corporate bull. Just users and raw tech. I hadn't thought about that in years. You serious? He tossed a flash drive at me. I've been building a rough version in my free time. Needed your brain to finish it. I caught it. My hands didn't shake this time. Maybe I wasn't broken anymore. Maybe I was just reorganizing. Every night after that, I worked. Ava sent feedback. Aaron tested builds. Mara asked more questions. Jake wrote modules with me, like we were back in the dorms, music blaring, two kids dreaming of changing the world. And quietly, without fireworks, something new began to grow. Not revenge. Not yet. Just strength. Quiet strength. But the rage was still there. It didn't scream anymore. It waited. It sat behind my ribs like a coiled spring, patient and cold. Because now, I wasn't lost. I wasn't scrambling for a way out. Now, I was planning. Every piece was coming back together, not the same as before, but sharper. Clearer. And next time they saw me, it wouldn't be with apologies or begging. It would be with power. The kind they couldn't steal. It dropped on a Thursday morning. Mara's article. The headline was louder than anything I could have written myself. Greater than, CEO Zane Carter accused of intellectual property theft by former engineer. I stared at it in silence. Riley read it out loud behind me, sipping burnt coffee, as if reciting the morning news. Sources close to the company allege code manipulation, attribution fraud, and internal suppression of whistleblowers. Screenshots, metadata, quotes from anonymous insiders. Aaron, Ava, even Camilla, the office manager, had apparently spoken off the record. There it was, my story, finally told. Without me having to scream. I watched the views tick upward. 10,000, 50, comments filled with disbelief, tech influencers sharing it with wide eyes and shocked emojis. Then the real damage started. By lunch, Grayson Capital issued a statement. Greater than, due to ongoing internal reviews and public allegations, we are halting all pending investments with Carter Systems. 2 hours later, the company's social media went dark. One by one, posts were pulled down. Rebranded launches cancelled. Then came the email. Greater than from Lena. Subject. Are you happy now? Just that. No hello. No explanation. No apology. I didn't answer. Instead, I watched the world tilt. Camilla quit that same day. She posted a goodbye photo from the office steps, tagging it, we all knew. Some of us just didn't speak soon enough. I kept refreshing the news page. Zane still hadn't made a statement. He was probably too busy trying to contain the fire. By evening, he called me. I let it ring once, twice. I didn't plan on picking up. But something inside me wanted to hear him squirm. I pressed accept. His voice hit immediately, tight, furious. You think this makes us even? I didn't answer. You think a stupid article changes anything? You think you're the hero now? Silence. You're just bitter because you couldn't handle competition. Still, I said nothing. You know what this does to the company. That made me laugh. Quiet, bitter. Your company. He paused. For the first time, I heard something unfamiliar in his voice. Not anger, fear. Look, he said, we can talk. I'll fix the paperwork. You want recognition. We'll do a formal post. Hell, we'll offer a settlement. Just don't take this further. He didn't get it. He still thought this was about a title, a press release, a paycheck. I hung up. The next morning, his lawyer sent a cease and desist to Mara. She posted it. Her caption, greater than, guess they don't want you reading the truth. It went viral in less than an hour. By the end of the day, another whistleblower came forward, a junior dev who had proof Zane used placeholder code from my early frameworks in the flagship app. The world I helped build was crumbling, brick by stolen brick. Jake tossed a bag of chips at me while I watched the chaos unfold. This is better than Netflix. I didn't laugh, because while everyone else saw justice, I saw the beginning, not the end. I saw how easy it was to burn things down, and how necessary. Zane had taken everything from me, my code, my time, my trust. All I did was hold up a mirror, and let him destroy himself. The first fall wasn't about revenge. It was about reminding them I was still here, still standing, still dangerous, and I wasn't done yet. The knock was soft, like she didn't want to be heard. I almost didn't open the door, but something told me it was her. Lena stood there, soaked in August rain, hair clinging to her face, mascara running, no umbrella, just two trembling hands and a face I barely recognized. Ethan, she whispered, like saying my name hurt. I didn't move aside. I didn't invite her in. I just stood there. Then, without asking, she stepped inside anyway. She looked around my apartment like she was searching for something familiar. There was nothing left. I'd stripped this place of every piece of our past. She turned to me, eyes red. I lost everything. Her voice cracked. Zane's under investigation. The company's done. People talk about me like I'm the villain. I can't get interviews. No one wants to touch me. I said nothing. She took a breath. I loved you, Ethan. That stopped me, for half a second. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. I messed up, she choked. I don't know why I did it. Maybe I wanted to feel powerful. Maybe I thought Zane could give me something more. But it wasn't love. Not like with you. I stared at her, not angry, not even sad, just empty. I gave up everything we had for something that never existed, she said. I see that now. Her eyes begged for something. Redemption maybe, or the illusion of who we used to be. But I wasn't that man anymore. I looked at her like she was a memory fading in real time. A story that no longer belonged to me. I'm not the boy you left, I said quietly. She flinched like I'd hit her. I don't hate you, I added. But I don't know you either. Not anymore. Tears streamed down her face. I'm sorry, I know it doesn't fix anything, but I am. I gave her no answer. Just silence. The kind that doesn't invite forgiveness. The kind that closes a door. She waited, maybe for a crack in my voice. A softening in my eyes. There was none. After a long pause, she nodded. Then she walked toward the door, pausing at the threshold like she hoped I'd stop her. I didn't. Goodbye, Ethan, she said. That was the last time I saw her. Not on the news, not in a headline, not even in a distant crowd. Just a memory that finally stopped haunting me. And when the door clicked shut behind her, I didn't feel broken. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt still. For the first time in months, I let the past leave the room. Zane didn't answer the board's calls. Not when the first investor pulled out. Not when the legal letters arrived. Not even when his own name was scrubbed from NextGen's press site. He just vanished. His office sat empty for weeks. His assistant left. His calendar remained frozen on a Monday morning he never showed up for. Mara's second article dropped like a hammer. Inside the collapse, Zane Carter and the fraud behind NextGen Gear. She had it all. Screenshots, whistleblower statements, and Aaron's timestamp backups. It wasn't just stolen code. It was insider trading, manipulation, a perfectly curated mask cracking in public. The board tried to distance themselves. Too late. Grayson's silence turned into a lawsuit. Securities regulators got involved. Zane's accounts were frozen. His assets seized for investigation. Still, no one could find him. Some said he moved abroad. Switzerland, Singapore. Some whispered about rehab, or a private facility in the hills. Others said he lost his mind. But me, I didn't care. I didn't look for him. Not even once. I deleted his number, threw out every photo, burned the hoodie he gave me when we first pitched together in that tiny garage. I didn't do it with hatred. I did it to breathe. Zane had been a chapter. A loud, messy, dangerous chapter. But not the whole story. Some ghosts are better left buried. Not forgiven, not resurrected, just forgotten. Ava texted me a meme that morning. Some silly tech joke. I laughed. Not a bitter laugh. A real one. Then I stared at my screen. At the terminal glowing softly with new code. My code. No shadows. No lies. Just me. The silence Zane left behind wasn't heavy anymore. It was clean. It was mine. Let him disappear. Let the world wonder where he went. I wasn't carrying him anymore. I had better things to build. I launched EvoCore on a rainy Tuesday. There were no champagne toasts, no press releases. Just a simple website, a clean interface, and a quiet kind of pride. Ava sat next to me, her fingers flying over the keyboard, double-checking our code. It's Liv, she whispered. And just like that, my new beginning had a name. EvoCore wasn't flashy. It wasn't built for billion-dollar valuations or viral headlines. It was built with intention, with every lesson I had learned carved into its structure. Smarter, smaller, honest. Jake flew in from Berlin a week before launch. The moment he walked in, he clapped me on the back and said, "Let's finish what we started in college." He brought his calm, his focus. Aaron rejoined, quietly brilliant, never needing the spotlight. Riley insisted on handling our socials, because, in his words, no one tells our story but us. We were a strange little team. But we were real. Ava became my co-founder. She earned it. She was the first to believe I wasn't crazy when I was broken. She saw what Zane and Lena didn't. Not just the code, but the soul behind it. And my mom, she got better. There was a morning, maybe a month after launch, where I found her in the kitchen, humming to herself while making chai. The light hit her face just right. For a second, it felt like the world had forgiven me. Or maybe I'd finally forgiven myself. Sometimes I walk past the old NextGen office. I don't go inside. I just stand across the street for a moment, watching strangers walk in and out of what used to be mine. I don't feel anger anymore. No burning in my chest. No ache in my gut. Just strength. The kind you earn after you've lost everything and still choose to build again. Zane's name is gone from the headlines now. The hype faded. Investors moved on. Lena hasn't contacted me since that night at my apartment. I don't know where she is. I don't need to. There's a piece in Not Chasing Ghosts. EvoCore started getting attention, slowly. A few niche blogs picked us up. A startup podcast interviewed Ava and me. We got messages from developers who said, "This feels different." And it was. Because this time, I knew who I was building for. Not shareholders. Not status. Just people who needed something real. And maybe that's all I ever needed too.